Welcome back. With me right now from Advanced Ear Care is Stuart Spencer. I'd like to welcome you. Good to see you, as always. And we're going to talk about a few things today. One of them, you want to talk about telehear. So tell us about that and how you work with a team of doctors of audiology, right?
Right. So this is a fantastic program. You know, it ties right in to our offices.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we come on with patients with every delivery we make. You know, we verify. You know, we always have verified best hearing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we always make sure they're hearing in a normal range or as close to that as possible. Once they get new hearing instruments, you know, we read people a list of words so that we know what their speech discrimination is with their hearing aids compared to without their hearing aids.
Yeah.
So they go from like 40% without them, you know, up to like 92% with them.
Wow.
You know, so then we hook up on a Skype call,
Mm-hmm.
right? You know, we have those big monitors in our
Yeah.
office, you know, big 50, 60-inch monitors in our office. And so we hook up with this team of doctors of audiology, and we review all these results, look at the settings, talk to the patients, see how they're doing with the fitting, make sure they're really comfortable with their hearing aids, they know how to use them. You know, we always invite people back, of course, you know, the next week for follow-up visits. And then this team of doctors look at it, you know, all the results. It's kind of like, you know, a group of doctors looking at any medical issue.
Yeah.
You know, you always have a different set of eyes on it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or 2 or 3 different sets. It's always to the patient's advantage.
Yes.
Right? So that's what we do, and we do it every day. And it's been a really powerful tool for us to really kind of just maximize the performance of the hearing aids for people, and so that they're getting the best hearing they can.
So I'm curious, what are some of the words you use?
So they're called phonetically balanced words.
Okay.
You know, they're very standardized tests, you know, for the audiological world. So, you know, they're words just like, you know, you guys sit here, you know, Jen, Min, you know, yeah, I can't think of the list.
So
I do them every day. It's so
all right,
funny.
so it's
just a real common word list.
Yeah.
You know, home run, goose, love, you know, that type of thing. And they're just common words. But, you know, the whole key with hearing is, you know, you don't hear in your ear, you hear in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your ear is just your decoder that sends that information up there.
Right.
So most people have hearing loss, so it just stays here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, once we stimulate that auditory pathway with a hearing device, they get the sound up here, then they can process speech as rapidly as people speak it.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's what we want to test and make sure that's happening properly.
Very good.
Yeah.
Now, you know, you just touched on that, the ear-brain connection.
Oh, exactly.
And we sometimes forget our ears, our eyes, our nose, they're just conduits.
Boy,
that's all they are.
Yep. You know, it always amazes me, you know, with the current type of research that's being done and what's coming out now. You know, I've done this for, you know, what, 36 years. And, you know, for a good portion of that, we didn't know half of this type of stuff and how it relates to cognitive abilities. You know, hearing specifically relates to a lot of, you know, cognitive issues. You know, people with hearing loss, you know, very traditionally feel isolated. They feel more depressed. You know, but now these research papers, you know, Dr. Lin from Johns Hopkins University, he kind of led the way with pioneering this kind of research and showing that there was some relationship between untreated hearing loss and, you know, those people with untreated hearing loss are 4 or 5 times more likely to have Alzheimer's and dementia. You know, so, you know, you kind of look back on that in a real simplistic way, you know, it kind of makes sense, right? If you're not stimulating that one of your major senses in your brain, then your brain starts to shift around and some negative things start to happen. But there's a lot going on there, and we're really fascinated and really privileged to be able to work with that and see people, you know, come alive again with the way they're hearing and understanding speech and getting back into the game, you know, with their families and friends or wherever that may be. You can kind of see the light go on.
And you know, you bring up a very good point that if you're not stimulating that certain part of your brain, no matter what it is, you know, over time it has a cumulative effect in a negative way.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So this has been, you know, it's been a real positive thing for us to realize this, you know, live into it and make it better for people.
Yeah. Very good. Now, maybe your hearing's okay, but you got some blockage going on, right?
Absolutely.
Or you feel like you're in a tunnel, which is you know, we all get that when our ears plug up. Maybe when you are landing in a plane, or maybe you take a dive into the pool or something like that.
Yeah. There are, you know, literally, you know, hundreds of different issues that come up here, Ken, that we see all the time. And people come in and say, geez, you know, my ear feels plugged up. Well, we look in there, a lot of times it's just simple earwax. Sometimes it's a little cotton they left in their ear from a cotton ball or something of that sort they put in there for some reason. Other times, the ear's clear, but the eustachian tube is plugged up, so they still really feel very occluded. We refer those people on to doctors. There's a multitude of reasons for feeling plugged up like that. Sometimes it is a pressure issue, from coming in from a recent flight or something of that sort. But one of the fun things that we like to let people know is they can just come in and we'll just take a look in their ears. And so often people are so enthused when they are able to we put a camera in the ear and they can see their own ear right up on a TV screen. It's really kind of fun. I mean, who gets to see in their ears, right?
Yeah.
And so whether it's clean or a little waxy or hairy or all those little things that happen, most of the time we're able to get that cleared up and they can really feel a lot better, a lot more open, and they're kind of back on the air. And while they're there, we screen their hearing and just make sure everything's okay.
Let me, along those lines, let me ask you this. About your ears get plugged up from a plane or any altitude change, or you're swimming and you get out and your ears are plugged up for maybe, sometimes it could be a couple days.
Right.
What can be done to alleviate that? Are there things you can do at home?
There are. There's some real simple things that it's kind of funny.
The plugging the nose and
people
blowing out.
think,
I don't know if that's good or
kind
bad.
of crazy, but you've always got the,
Yeah.
and if you do that, just mild pressure, right? You don't want to, like you're trying to blow something out of your ear.
Okay.
Just a mild pressure to kind of stretch that open. Usually what that does is just blow air up your eustachian tube, opens that little gap, and you feel that pressure release. You can also just move your jaw, and try to open that up. And everything's right here, right?
Yeah.
Your jaw, your ears, your everything.
Yeah.
So that opens up a lot. I have kind of a funny story I'll tell you real quick. I had a lady that I'd seen for 15, 16 years, and she came and she said, "Stuart, I've lost my hearing in this ear." And it was way down, and we worked on it for a good month and a half, trying to get back up, just nothing. And she went and had her tooth pulled, and her hearing came back up.
Wow.
It was just some kind of relationship right there at the jaw and some, the sensory mechanism.
Wow.
There's a lot that goes on across your, sinus cavities, your eustachian tubes, your jaws, your teeth, so you just never know, So it's really kind of amazing how it all relates together. So we just like to take a look at the whole thing and make sure it's working the best it can be.
I remember years ago when my ears were really plugged up from altitude change in a plane. And it must have lasted a week or so. And what I did at the time, I had a friend of mine who had the same problem and went to the doctor, and I would lay on my side and put a few drops of hydrogen peroxide in my ear.
Oh,
and I don't know if this is right or wrong.
Sure.
It worked because it bubbles.
Yeah, sure.
And it got down into my ear, and after about a day of, I did that a couple times a day, it worked.
It relieved it.
I don't know if that was right or wrong, but
yeah, one of the most interesting things I've ever heard, and 3 people told me this, is if you have that pressure type of problem, when you're descending or ascending in an airplane, if you just take a styrofoam cup, put a wet paper towel in each of them, and put them over your ears, they said it works like a charm.
Of course you look a little funny.
Yeah, of course.
Right. Yeah. All right, let's talk about Willow Tree, the Willow Tree Center.
We're coming
Moving
along. Yeah, it's really starting to look good. They've got the basic format, fascia on the front of the building. They've got it all papered and all the chicken wire there ready to do all their stuff with. And it's been a process, but man, it's really looking good. They're coming along. So of course, July 31st was our deadline, but as we move forward, hopefully we'll go for August 30th, 31st right in there, but it's really going to look nice, and we're starting to really take shape, and I'm really happy to see the progress being made there.
Yeah, that'll be really nice. And then I know once they do all the facade work, then they're going to look into adding a few other, like a little restaurant court or something.
Right.
I don't know what it might be.
There's already a frozen yogurt place coming in there, I hear now. And
good.
The nail salon and a hair salon, and of course the fitness center, and so it's starting to fill up. It's great to see it.
All right, very good. Good to see you, sir, as always.
Ken. Likewise.
And I know next time you come on, you're going to talk about the Starkey Foundation, probably.
Absolutely.
And your time in Minnesota.
Yeah, that'll be a great review.
And you always send us photos.
That's right.
So that'll be nice. AdvancedAirCare.com is the website. The number is 949-354-0079, and we'll be right back.